everyone, Tiffany here with Crafty Home, and today I am bringing you my June wrap-up. I read, let's look at the old Goodreads, not very many books in June. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 books, that's not bad. 9 books in June. So let's get started with what I read. Many of these I got from the library or they're being borrowed by somebody at the moment, so I couldn't necessarily show you very many of them, but that's okay. So the first book that I finished was Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I really did enjoy this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's kind of Legally Blonde meets, I don't know, Crazy Assassin. I don't know, but it reminded me a lot of Legally Blonde. I really enjoyed it. So when I want to read the second one, I want to know what happens. I did enjoy it. It was almost like a guilty pleasure, and yeah, it's not the best in the world, but it was pretty good. I did enjoy it. Next, I read The Air by Kara Cass, and this is that beauty of a book right here. This is book number 4 in the selection series, and I don't know if it was meant to just be a trilogy, and then she decided to write 2 more, and so yeah, this follows Evelyn, I'm trying to remember, Edelyn. It follows Edelyn, who is the 2 people who win the selection's daughter. I'm trying not to give spoilers for the selection series here. I'm really trying. So yes, and this is her having to, they've decided to go ahead and have female heirs, and so she ends up being heir to the throne, and this is her selection. And it's quite a bit different than I was expecting. I didn't expect Edelyn to be so headstrong, and yeah, which is fine. She is annoying for most of the book, but I think she's meant to be annoying for most of the book. So a lot of people have said that as a complaint, but I really think she was supposed to be written that way, and I truly think that in the next book she's going to be a completely different person. There is a lot of character growth in this book, and if you love the rest of the series, I really think you'll love this. I love this series so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I have 2 copies of it now. I have it in paperback, which is the one I read that I had pre-ordered from the book depository, and then I won a signed copy, and this is the hardback signed copy, from my friend Sarah over at Sarah Ella, which I'll link her channel down below. So yeah, this book, I love it. I love this series so much. You need to read it. Okay. The next book that I read in the month of June is The Hutterite Diaries by Linda Miendel. I got this to review from LitFuse Publicity Group, and it was good. I gave it 3 stars just because I think the author didn't, it was a nonfiction book, and I think the author didn't necessarily realize that we wouldn't understand some things, which I can understand. Being Hutterite it's kind of like a sect of Anabaptists, which would be like Mennonites, and Amish kind of can trace themselves back to that, but all of those kind of groups, and so they don't really live, they have a lot more technology than some of the other groups do, but they're not like a mainstream culture, and so for her, what is very real history, she tries to give you little tidbits of it and of a trip she took, but she kind of takes for granted. I don't even think she thought about the fact that we wouldn't necessarily follow it completely. I kind of wanted more in that section, but the rest of the book was really good. I did enjoy kind of seeing life through her eyes and seeing what that is all like. So anyway, she writes a blog too, and I'll try to remember to link that down below. But I'm passing this book on to Felicia from Little Prairie Library. She actually lives in Canada and in a part of the country where there are Hutterites, so this will be good for her to read. It's part of a series. I think it's Plain Spoken is either the publisher or the series, and they're all like books written about these different cultures from that person, from somebody who lives in that culture's perspective, which is fascinating to me. So it was pretty good. So the next book I read in June is Serafina by Rachel Hartman. I buddy read this with Jennifer from Wonderland Books, and I'm really glad I buddy read it with somebody because I don't know if I'd finish it have finished it otherwise. Yeah, I gave it, did I say I gave it 3 out of 5? I feel like it took quite a while to get into, and the writing was kind of strange in places. I guess I've never read a dragon book before, so that could have been part of it. I actually really expected Seraphina to be the dragon, but she's not. She's a girl who's the main character. It's good. It gets better at the end. So if you start reading it, give it time. And by time, I mean a lot of time. And I will definitely read the second book, Shadow Scale. I don't know if there's more than that. I'll definitely read it. I'm not sure. Yeah. I liked it. It was okay, but it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. That's just my personal opinion. I know other people who absolutely love it, so I don't know. The next book I read is one that I read for review. It's part of I believe it's 6-part series where it's really one book, but they like split it up into 6 parts, and you like get each part separately. You get a free audiobook with it though. It's a middle grade series, science fiction, somewhat graphic novel-ish, and so it was Aeolian. I'm not sure how to say it, even though it tells you, which I thought was really cool, how she explained it in the book. It's Aeolian, the Martian girl, and she like explains how to say her name to the boy, which I thought was clever, the way it was written into the story, so you would know how to say it. And it was part 1, First Contact, and it's by Brent Lavassier. I don't know if I'm going to get that right. The artwork was pretty cool. A lot of it you could tell was probably done like on a computer, like Blender or something, and then it had other pictures in the background. It's not necessarily my type of art, but I showed it to my husband and he was like, well, kids would love that. And I showed it to my son, my 10-year-old, and he really enjoyed it. So yeah, just difference of opinions, I suppose. I thought it was kind of cheesy, but everybody else kind of liked it. So yes, that was that book, and I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars because the story is actually really good. I think the story is well done, and I haven't passed it on to my son yet, but I know he'll want to read those. Next was Fatal Trauma by Richard L. Mabry. I was given this one for review from Litfuse Publicity Group in exchange for my honest review. Did I say that already? Anyway, this one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Richard L. Mabry is a former doctor, and so he's written a lot of these like medical suspense books, and I love them. I love that I know that the medical suspense is real and it's good. This one, it was really good. It wasn't 5 stars for me, but it was good. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm passing it on to my dad. I loved the whole mystery, and I loved watching the characters, watching the characters develop throughout the book. It was really good. So I do recommend it, especially if you like that kind of medical drama stuff. I love that stuff. So it was really good for that. This basic premise of the story is that there's, I guess I should just tell you that since it's not a very well-known book. There's this ER doctor, and somebody comes in and there's a shooting, and then he ends up kind of, the shooting and the person who died were gang members, and so he ends up being attacked by the gang. But it goes even deeper than that, and there's moles in the hospital, and just so much happens. Malpractice lawsuits being flung around, and just really, really good. Lots of twists and turns that I definitely didn't see coming. Then next I picked up, oh, I haven't talked about that one yet. Okay, next I picked up A Friend in Me, How to Be a Safe Haven for Other Women by Pamela Havey-Lau. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. This one I got for review from a Litfuse Publicity Group as well. And yeah, it was really good. I felt like the author in some spots, like a lot of times she would talk about a friend of hers and try to give an example or a story to go along with the point she was making. It's a nonfiction book. And I felt like she didn't, sorry, the cloud just covered the sun, so there kind of went my natural lighting for a minute. Hopefully it'll move. I felt like she expected you to know this person and know why it was significant that such and such happened. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, there wasn't enough backstory given. She just threw out somebody's name, like, I should know who this person is, and I haven't a clue. So almost like they were somebody famous and I should just know. I don't know. But the topic of this book is really, really good. I have found myself already kind of implementing some of that with friends that I have. It's like I said, it's how to be a safe haven for other women. She goes through different ways to be open and humble and share your life with somebody else in such a way that they then feel free to share with you their struggles and don't feel afraid that you're going to condemn them or whatever. So this book was really good. I highly recommend it. Next book I read was Elantris. Wait, did I skip one? I did skip one. I'll go back to it. Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This was the Year of Cosmere book for a couple of months ago. May? I want to say May? Was it May? I think so. It took me a while to finally get to it, but when I did, oh my goodness, this is his first debut novel, people, and it is so good. 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know that I'll ever read a Brandon Sanderson that doesn't get 5 out of 5 stars from me. I just loved it. It's about this city of Elantris that used to be great city, and the people there had all of these powers, and now they don't. And now if you get turned into an Elantrian, I can't remember, there seems like there's another word, by the Sheod, it's like the magic's failed and you get turned into, I can't remember what word they use for it, but you get turned into these almost zombie-like creatures. Like, you can't die, but pain, when you feel pain, it's like it never goes away. You get a scratch, or a bump or a bruise, that pain's always there, it never goes away. And so most of them would end up eventually going crazy, and there was a word for that I can't remember off the top of my head. So this book follows the heir to the throne and what happens with him. And there's twists and turns galore, as you would expect with Brandon Sanderson. I really recommend this book if you haven't read it yet. Next, going back to the book that I skipped, that I had read in June, which I can't believe I skipped, I loved this book, is As Water's Gone By Cynthia Rushdie. This is a fiction, just a general fiction book, and I received this one for review from LitFuse as well. This one is about a woman whose husband is in jail, and their marriage is in shambles, mainly because he didn't want her to talk to him anymore. And this is about her going back to a little house that they had on this island because she has nothing left, and trying to redo it. And along the way she ends up staying at this inn, and the inn is ran by this woman who, like, is just full of wisdom and is the kind of person that, like, brings you in and mothers you and loves you and helps you kind of get through life and encourages you. Like, that's the kind of person I want to be. It's great. It's a great book. There were lots of twists and turns, little things I did not see coming. This book I expected to like, but I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I've, like, recommended it to several people. I think anyone would love to read this, but I especially think older women, not old, okay, like 30 and up, women who have been married or are married would really relate to this book and really enjoy it. It's fabulous, and I'm trying to get my mom to read it, but she doesn't read much, and I'm like, Mom, you need to read it. It's really, really good. So if I recommend it to my mom, it has to be, like, really good, and a certain type of book. So lastly, the last book that I finished in June was The Sea of Monsters, book 2 in the Percy Jackson series. I'm almost done with that series. I have 2 books left in it. I'm so excited to finish it. I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, it was good. If you haven't read Percy Jackson, you should, even if you're older, because I'm reading it as an older person because it didn't come out until I was already older. And yeah, I love it. I love it so much. I love the adventure and just the interaction, the wit that Rick Riordan writes with, his jokes and his witticism are great. I love his books so much. So those are the 9 books that I read in June, and let me know down below what you read in June, if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, or if you plan on reading any of these books now. I'd love to know. And until next time, I'll chat with y'all later. Bye!